Hello everyone. I think I've got what is known as the graveyard slot, which that's the slot after lunch. So if a few of you start to nod off, I won't take it personally. I guess there'd be an issue if I start to nod off though, but I'll try not to. So yes, hello, I'm Nell McCreadie and I work in Sage's marketing department here in London. And for the past year, I've been working on a project with Lucy and with others to try and assess library value in the developing world. So as you can therefore tell, I'm not a librarian and I don't live in the developing world. So why should I be standing here telling you about the value of libraries in these territories? If I can give a brief background to the reasons why we commissioned and published the report, this might help answer that question. So first of all, what do we actually mean by library value? Why are we as publishers trying to help librarians assess it? Well, in a nutshell, it's an attempt to understand how, why, and to what degree people value their library. This has become prevalent for librarians in recent years, where change across all facets of society has greatly impacted higher education and the role of the academic library. One outcome of this is the need to assess and reassess how a library's stakeholders value the services and support they offer. So as you know, and as John mentioned in his introduction, scholarship is changing and we now need to embrace digital scholarship. The habits of researchers and faculty in their reading and research are changing. And practices that made sense in the print environment must now be reconsidered and adapted. Researchers, libraries, universities, and publishers are all partners in this change. Of course, libraries are also changing. Here's a picture of the new Library of Birmingham, which opened in September at a cost of £189 million. The library director, Brian Gamble, said a fusion of the digital and the traditional is absolutely essential to the vision of the library. Libraries are back on the agenda with increasing numbers of people now engaged in some form of further or higher education. Libraries now need to answer the needs of their patrons who teach and research in this electronic environment. The libraries are at the heart of what we do as scholarly publishers, and we therefore need to embrace this changing landscape. At Sage, we believe that engaged scholarship lies at the heart of any healthy society, and that education is intrinsically valuable. We are committed to supporting the scholarly communication chain, and that includes being a collaborative partner with libraries. As many of you may be aware, Sage produced a white paper last year which investigated library value at case study universities in the UK, the US, and Scandinavia. The publication of this report sparked a discussion amongst a group of us at last year's London Book Fair. We thought how fantastic it would be to further this study to explore findings from the developing world. I was curious and keen to explore how libraries work in developing countries and what the differences might be between these two regions. To provide a comprehensive report, I enlisted the help of LISU, which is the research centre at Loughborough University Library, as well as Lucy and INASP. Before I report on the methodology and the key findings of the study, I would just like to reiterate that the results were collected from 12 case study universities, and therefore they may not reflect the territory as a whole. I'd therefore be really interested in your thoughts and your opinions and how the research resonates with your library. So at the end, there'll be time for questions and comments. So, methodology. The research itself was based on 12 case study universities from countries classified by the World Bank as low and middle income. We mailed an invitation for participation to just over 1,400 librarians in these territories, and we received 75 registrations of interest. From this pool of 75, we selected the case study volunteers based on geographical location and spread, stage of development of the institution or country, and the size of the institution. And these are the 12 universities we selected. So there's a wide range from Honduras, Indonesia, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, the Philippines, etc. The research was conducted using a mixture of quantitative surveys and qualitative interviews, and we received responses from 85 librarians and 297 faculty from within the 12 case study universities. So, what were the key findings? The findings from the research reported that developing country librarians are beginning to recognise the importance of evaluating their value for research and teaching staff. Communicating the value of their role, however, remains a key challenge. Librarians noted that whilst they receive positive feedback about their resource collection, there is limited awareness of how librarians can better support research and teaching staff beyond these traditional roles. Increased engagement is needed between individual libraries and their faculty to help reinforce their changing role. The white paper included further considerations for librarians, but also university management and publishers. University management can help build awareness of the role of the library by investing in the professional development of librarians. Publishers could adapt marketing and online resources to enable greater access for those in developing countries. So let's look at that a bit more closely. This is a friend of mine. I think today he's called James. Let's call him James. And he is a subject librarian. In our research, James and his librarian colleagues told us that there are few external drivers to demonstrate quality or value in the developing world. This is unlike in the UK, for example, where the National Student Survey scores are just one way that libraries are being evaluated. The majority of librarians surveyed perceived their value to be measured by both faculty and university management is via their resource collection. They therefore measure the level of support and service they provide via usage statistics. And here's another friend of mine. I think he's called Annie. Yeah, let's call him Annie. So a big focus of our study was to get feedback from faculty at the 12 case study universities. And Annie is a member of research faculty. We received almost 300 responses, and we found that the majority of faculty assessed how they perceive their library based on the strength and accessibility of the library's resource collection. But a fifth, that's 20%, of faculty do not use the electronic resource collection. Now, this could be because they rely on the print collection, or perhaps because they're not aware of all of the content their library has access to. We found that 96% of faculty use the library building, and 15% report using the library building every day. And this is different from our findings from the report last year in the UK, US and Scandinavia, where it was reported that libraries are becoming more like undergraduate study halls. This emphasises how important the physical library building remains in the developing world. 39% of faculty surveyed visit the library website at least once a week. And this indicates the importance of the library's website as a key communication and information resource. We also found that 35% of faculty said they weren't aware of all of the services offered by their library. And this could be a result of services not being offered, or a lack of communication about the services, or a combination of both. When asked about the biggest challenge to demonstrate library value and gaining support, one librarian remarked, "Faculty don't take it upon themselves to communicate what they want from the library. We try to engage them, but they are not forthcoming." The study highlighted areas of disconnect between the librarians and their faculty, most notably between what librarians see as important means of communication and communication that faculty report as being effective. If faculty are to appreciate the value of resources, they need to know they exist. The librarians surveyed recognised the need for investing in the marketing of the library, and several identified a number of activities that could help raise the profile, such as publicity and outreach activities, or more user training. However, the reality of constraints on human, material and financial resources means that there are barriers to activating this. So, in summary, our key findings are that drivers for collecting the evidence of library value are primarily internal in the developing world. There are few external drivers reported from case study librarians. Libraries in the developing world primarily measure their value through the resource collection. The majority of libraries in the developing world do not offer a cohesive set of services or support beyond providing access to their resource collection. And finally, a level of investment in the library is needed to raise the visibility and awareness of what the library offer. So how do these two reports compare? Well, they're actually very similar. Developing world libraries appear to be a step behind, but it's not a long step, according to the research. In the main, libraries in both the developed and developing world are facing the same issues and challenges. So what does the future hold? Well, an outcome from this project that I'm going to be working on over the next 6 months is a marketing case study where we at Sage are going to look more in depth the marketing and communication findings from the report. This case study will explore how publishers can contribute to libraries in developing world beyond making content available. We need to assess how best to drive awareness and usage of electronic resources. So the 12 participant libraries have all received access to 3 Sage platforms. That's Sage Journals, Sage Research Methods and Sage Knowledge, the ebook platform. And the 12 are going to be divided into 2 groups. And one group will receive additional marketing support from us and the other will not. And from this, we will measure the effectiveness of marketing channels to drive resource awareness and usage across a year. The results of this study will be published, I hope, in spring next year. So thank you for your attention. And does anyone have any questions?